This time at the Quick Speed Shop, I'm back working on my 37 Ford project. I'm in the middle of getting the engine yanked out of here. It's a 60 horsepower flathead. I'm putting a bigger flathead in it. And as you see, I got half the front end apart, and I'm unbolting things, and hopefully this motor's going to come out of here. So let me show you what I'm working on. I'm going to start the video right now. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home. Alright, the first step today is draining the engine coolant and getting the radiator out. Here on the 60 horsepower, in the side of the block, there's these valves here, where they're right there. And you can open it up and drain the coolant out of the block. And that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, inside the car here, I'm going to remove these panels. And I've already started taking the screws out. Somebody's been in here before. You can see the brand new washers. They put in some Allen head machine bolts, which wouldn't be correct. They would have been flathead screws, I believe, but I'm taking these out and I'm going to remove these wooden toe boards. Yes, they're still using the wood, 1937 in the floor. And then I can get the center hump out. Once I get the take a look at it here, but this will give me access to get down to the top of the frame rails and transmission. One thing I noticed, these are stamped young here. As far as I know, these are the original floorboards, so I don't know if that's who made them for Ford or what. That's kind of interesting that that's in there. I'm not a 37 Ford expert by any stretch of the imagination. I do have the 37 Ford book. I'll have to look and see if they mention that, but it's very interesting that it's got that stamped in there like that. Oh, look at this. We can see stuff. Hoop. We got a couple of these to go. Come on. Ah, there we go. This car is so rust-free that obviously somebody's been in here, but a lot of the fasteners come out fairly easily without a bunch of disaster. Okay. Hopefully I can sneak this out from under that toe board. Oh yeah. So here's the transmission. You got the mount right here. This is the torque tube for the rear end. Here's the speedometer cable housing right here. So you got to unbolt this. Got your shifter tower. Got a bunch of grease puked out of there for some reason. This is the 60 horsepower transmission. As you can see, it's very, very narrow. It's a lot smaller than the 39 box we're going to be using. These are specific to the 60 horsepower engines. It was a special transmission. The serial number for the car would be on the transmission there. Be a star 54 dash a number. I already know this is not the correct transmission or engine that was in this car originally, because I also have the frame rail number, which should match this number, and it doesn't. So I know this is an very early 37 tin-sided engine that somebody put in here back in the day, and this transmission's also been replaced. So they're both not original to the car. So I know that. And what we need to do, the reason I had to get into this here is these chatter rods, anti-chatter rods. They help to keep vibration out of the engine. They mount here to the frame through this special bolt that's got like a square drive on top and a nut, and they mount to the transmission. This is to take some of the vibration out of the car, like I just said. So we got to remove those before we can remove the housing, but I'm hoping to be able to unbolt here at the torque tube, get the biscuit mounts off, and take the engine and transmission out in one piece. I'll remove the shifter tower for the transmission, and then unbolt a couple other things. The clutch linkage over here, which is mechanical. Hopefully I can pull this out one shot. The odometer is showing 96,453 miles, which, believe it or not, is a lot of miles for one of these cars. You know, most of them were junk long before that, and it's at 453 right now. Here I found this oil change tag from 2774. And you can see the mileage is 95,220. So the thing has gone, what's that? 1,200 miles since 1974. That's pretty amazing. I've like I said, I've owned the car, or I've owned this car. I'm trying to do the math. Remember, I either bought it in 2011 or 2013. I can't remember. I think 11. But anyways, I've owned the car about 10 years, and I drove it around a very little bit when I first got it. Then I had a bunch of mechanical issues with the engine, leaking coolant and not running correctly and being worn out. So I put about maybe 20 miles on it. Actually, I think that's a 70 on the odometer. That can't be right. On the trip, I didn't drive anywhere near that much. I know that. Okay, I'm ready to pull the radiator out, I believe. I went and I unbolted those lower bolts down there. I've taken the hoses off. There's quite a lot of rust in the coolant system, which I don't like to see. I don't know if this had new antifreeze put in it or that was just years of sitting that way, but I'm about ready to take the last screw out here. I got the nut off. Just want to hold this from getting all out of the control here. Apparently it's, there we go. Hi, huzzah, there we go. Now, let me get over here. This should lift straight out, up and out. Ah, ah, oh, stuff cold everywhere. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. I really think I want to take the grill out of the car because I can't afford to damage that. It's like $800 or $900 for a good grill. And this grill is like mint condition. Mint. Mint. And I can't have a chance that it gets damaged. Oh great, I dumped antifreeze all over the coil. That's good for it. And it looks like there's a bunch of bolts down here. I'm going to do some other things. The choke rod and the throttle rod, I can unhook them. They just got little spring ball sockets. You pull it ahead and it just like that comes off. And I can take the carburetor off. Not sure where I want to pick it yet. I'm still trying to think about that. Here we go. Like I said, I'm not sure how I want to pick this. With the transmission on it, I can probably take a couple of head bolts loose and make a bracket. I'd like to get my load leveler on here so I could load level it on out. That'll probably be alright. Yeah. I'm going to think about getting the grill out of the way though. This has got a support bar which will hold the fenders at the correct spacing. Then I could take the grill right out of the way and not worry about damaging it. Well, here I got distracted here. I was out wrenching under the car. I noticed something that was bugging me. And you see this here? This is called a dog bone. This is a shock absorber. It's a hydraulic shock with an arm, and it goes into this eyelet here on the axle. And watch this. Obviously, when I push up and down on the car, the suspension goes up and down like that, right? Well, these things have a nasty habit of seizing up, and look, I pull on this, it won't move at all. And when I had it bolted in here, you couldn't budge the car at all. Here, I'll show you on the other side. But these things got a press fit, and it was really in there. I ended up using my air chisel and kind of beat up that tip, but beat on it here because it really didn't have any way to get it out of there, and just rattled on it and finally got the brake free. Go over here to the passenger side. Watch this. I push up and down. It doesn't move at all. The only movement I'm getting is in the rubber is shot in this dog bone. So what I'm going to do is do what I did on the other side. Take the air chisel here. I know it's going to be loud for you guys, but check this out. I'm just going to go ahead and get on here and beat on it. Just wrap on it there. I'm going to give it some wax here. It's still tight. I'm going to hit here where it mounts, try to give it some taps, kind of like a tie rod end, try to bust it free. Wrap on that a little bit, wrap some more on here. Got it! She busted free. You can see this is worn right out here, how sloppy it is. It had been wearing, this shock had been seized up for a long time, and it actually wore the top of this thing. Now watch this. There we go. The suspension was completely seized up on the front of this thing, both sides. So there we go. So I'll work on later on in my stash, see if I can find some different shocks, and we'll do something. But in the meantime, now I've got suspension back on the car. All right, I have bolted the grill. I believe I can just take it out right now. We're going to find out right now. Oh, it's stuck. The fender welting is holding it. Come on now. Crap, sandwiches between the panel there. Don't be alarmed by all those nasty sounds. It's just the old dry rotted fender welting. Ooh, that was fun. This old nasty fender welting they used here. It's all shot anyways. You got sandwiched between this lower panel. I should have taken that off, I guess, but I thought it helped hold the fenders together. So there's the grill. Look at that. So there's the grill. We'll put this in a very safe location so it does not get damaged. Right now I'm going to go back here. I unhooked some of the wiring. I took the wire off the coil, I took the wire off the generator, took the carburetor off, and I just got to get the temperature sensor out of the driver's side head. A couple other miscellaneous wires need to be disconnected, the oil pressure sending unit and stuff, and then the wires will be off the engine. I'll cut the exhaust right over here, and then just unbolt the torque tube on the inside and figure out how I want to sling this up, and this should come right up out of here. So I got the engine up here. This is what's called a helmet distributor. This goes on here that looks like a helmet, like a space helmet, and your plug wires are on each side. These are Bakelite plastic distributor caps. There's 2 of them. There's dual rotors, dual sets of points, I believe, and then each four wires. This side does that side. This side does that side. Originally there was a big Bakelite coil here, but I since did a remote coil kit here, which uses a modern style coil, and then they make a little adapter plate that bolts on where the stock coil did. So I put this on a few years ago because I was having ignition problems with the original coil. They tend to go bad. So I put this remote kit on here. All right, here we go. After a bunch more wrenching, I'm ready to pull the motor out. Got the motor mount biscuit bolts undone, all the harness is loose. Here I've hooked up my load leveler, so hopefully I can load level some action. I bolted some brackets onto the heads, and everything is disconnected as far as I can see. On the inside of the car here, got the transmission, got the shifter out. This is the front of the torque tube. There's a U-joint in here with a spline shaft where the drive shaft comes in, and the joint's here, so this has to slide apart. Took the bolts out of the back biscuits here so I can slide the transmission ahead. The chatter rods I can't get out. They're like pinched between the frame and the transmission, so I'm going to have to try to pull the engine ahead a little bit, and then I can slide them out. I cut the exhaust over here, and everything else, the clutch linkage is off. Everything else should be disconnected, so we're going to try and muscle this thing out of here and pull that out. So I'm going to put you on the stand, and we'll see what happens. So you can level some more. Let's try that. Leveling. Aha. Let me knock the bolt down out of this motor mount. Whoa, there we go. It was impeding my action. So now I got this. Let me pull it just a little bit. A little bit ahead there. Let me try getting the rods out now on the back. You guys watch the engine, make sure it doesn't fall out. Okay, whoa. It's trying to Rochambeau on me. Oh. There we go. Got too much dangle. Got a load level back over. Stupid thing. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Shoot. Exhaust is hung up on the thingamajig. Pull them rods out now. I'm all dangling my angle here. Angle of the dangle. You gotta clear the exhaust here. You go up some more. Are we hitting? Whoa, okay, the exhaust is clear now. This is awesome. Almost there. Ta-da! It's free. Oh, easy now, easy, easy now. Look at that. Take a picture for the Instagrams. On Instagram, Quick Speed Shop. On Instagram, all one word. There we go, there's the engine bay all cleaned out. Now to put the 85 horse, or the, I should stop calling it that, put the 59 AB in here, these mounts got to come off because these biscuits go here where this dimple is. There's a hole in the factory cross member, and these are specific to 60 horsepower, so these will come out. Instead of having the radiator mount here, the radiator mounts up here on the frame. So these are those will come right out, but we've got it opened up. Didn't really destroy anything, so that was good. Here's our little V8-60 here on the ground. Look how tiny that thing is. Okay, I brought the two flatheads over side by side just so you can get an idea of the size difference of the 60 horsepower engine versus the 59AB. This is a 239 cubic inch engine. It's about 100 horsepower. This is a 136 cubic inch engine, 60 horsepower. And you can really see the size and length difference here. Kirk, I'm going to do a separate video on this, so just bear with me. I'm going to do a whole separate video showing all the differences, but you can watch that probably right after this one. But I just want to give you a real fast precursor look at the difference. The size of the transmissions are bigger. The cylinder heads are way bigger. See how small this is compared to the size of that one. The blocks are physically bigger. The intake is longer. The engine is longer. This has the early helmet style ignition, and the 59AB's got the crab style, I think 42 and up style distributor on it here. So there's the engines. So that's it. A lot of good progress for today. Got that little 60 yanked right out of there. And it didn't come out too bad at all. I'm really happy the way it worked out. Now I can spend my time cleaning up stuff in here. I'm definitely going to order a wiring harness. I was looking, especially when I got the engine on, I could look closer. The entire harness is really crunchy and nasty. It's been taped up here, but there's bare spots showing everywhere. So it's not safe to have the harness like this in the car. It could be a source for a fire. So I'm going to order a new harness. It goes under the dash and comes out and does the engine in one harness. I'm going to order the light harness down here that does the headlights and stuff, and we'll do that in a separate video whenever that comes in. And rewire the whole front of the car. That'd be nice. Clean this up a little bit and get this 59AB ready to go in the car. So thanks for watching. Come back next time. We're working here again on old Ford hot rod stuff at the Quick Speed Shop.